This episode of Pool Magazine podcast is proudly sponsored by Basecrete Technologies, the industry leader in cementitious waterproofing. Basecrete is the #1 all-in-one waterproof membrane and bond coat, delivering unmatched strength, superior adhesion, and long-term flexibility. Its proprietary blend of polymers and specialized additives makes it the go-to choice for protecting and repairing concrete in pools, spas, and beyond. When it comes to waterproofing, experienced pool professionals trust Basecrete. For more information, visit us on the web at basecretetechnologies.com.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Pool Magazine podcast. As always, I'm your host, Trusty, and today I'm joined by Wally Glowicki, Senior Director of SaaS for PoolCorp. It's a pleasure to have you with us today on the show, Wally.
Oh, thanks for having me.
You know, Wally, the industry has changed a lot in the past 5 years. From your perspective, what problems is Pool360 really focused on solving for pool pros right now?
Yeah, so the Pool360 ecosystem is really designed to help create efficiency and value inside of our customers. We feel that, the pool industry especially has a great opportunity to become more digitally enabled and ultimately provide growth to the entire industry by leveraging these digital products.
Now, when I hear people talk about Pool360, I think a lot of people still think online ordering, but it's clearly becoming much bigger than that. How do you define the Pool360 ecosystem as it stands today?
Yeah, so the Pool360 Business Solution team really focuses on developing our specialized digital solutions that empower our customers with that high performing software for not just ordering products, but managing their business, whether that's service, repair, construction, as well as water testing, in the field or at retail locations. We provide the tools and a complete business lifecycle partnership. So when you talk about it, it's, our team is leading demonstrations, doing trainings, onboardings, and we have dedicated ongoing support to make sure that business is growing for that dealer in not only revenue, but profitability. And it's creating an elevated experience for their customers.
Last time when I had Brian Durant on and Jamie Novak on the show, we talked about Pool360 and as an online ordering platform. It's really evolved where every branch is your branch now. And I think that's really something that a lot of pool pros are going to take advantage of. But when you look at how many different spokes on the wheel are, when you look at Pool360 PoolService, is this meant to compete with standalone service software, or is it something fundamentally different because of the PoolCorp ecosystem?
Yeah, and that's really important because first and foremost, PoolCorp is, a distributor, and we strive to utilize our digital ecosystem to really elevate that dealer experience and create a tangible value for them. The differentiator that PoolCorp brings really comes from that connection that we have with our distribution network. We're leveraging our physical locations, our online ordering, business management, digital solutions, and robust marketing programs. That's really the power in the approach that we're looking at to serve as that one-stop shop for dealers. That really differentiates us from the software companies.
Most service softwares that I see focus on scheduling and invoicing or back of the house operations. Pool360's PoolService feels like it's really trying to connect operations, supply chain, and customer data. Is that the real differentiator going on here?
Yeah, we look at the entire customer journey. As we expand our focus in development of Pool360, this really means offering solutions from a customer's lead management upfront to contract management, servicing and routing, one-time service scheduling, quoting, ordering materials, and all the way to finalizing and invoicing a customer. So this focus on the customer journey creates a full business management solution for our dealers, which really is second to none.
Route optimization is a huge deal these days. How much inefficiency do you think exists in the average pool service route?
Yeah, that's really interesting. We've seen an increase of 15% of capacities in users of our platform. This reclaimed drive time as well as time spent on the job allows the technician to add another 4 to 6 stops a week. If you do the math on that, if you charge an average of $150 per pool, that's an additional $7,000 in annual revenue per technician. So it's really impactful, the utilization of that software can bring.
When a company uses intelligent routing, factoring in traffic, distance, job clustering, what kind of real world gains are they seeing in time or fuel savings when it comes to using Pool 360 pool service?
Yeah, when we've done, digging in on this, we see a 20% decrease in drive time from your typical, manual routing or using of other tools. And that savings can really add up, especially in today's high cost fuel environment. This can be a significant savings to the bottom line.
Let me play devil's advocate here. If I'm a service company and say I got 100 pools, how does Pool 360 change the way I think about building and scaling my routes?
Yeah. So, if you think about it from an optimization standpoint, it's beneficial for all sizes of pool companies. With the ability to easily change and optimize my routes, we have a drag and drop feature, allows for a quick addition of new routes as well as, an optimization of a single route change. So let me give you an example. If Jim calls in sick for the day, you can see who the best technician is available to take over those routes. Drag and drop in the software and then click a re-optimize button, and it'll make sure that route is efficient as possible. Jim's back the next week, the route goes back to normal, and the system is optimized for each and every day.
Say I'm a service company and I want to grow from 50 pools to 200. What role does a software like this play?
Yeah, my opinion is it's really the foundation for growth for a company is their technology stack. Many customers start with, just basic functionality that they'll start using, our platform with. And as they bring on more customers and more routes, the platform's designed to, create further utilization, and it grows with the dealer. And the marketing and business image component of the platform allows the smaller companies the ability to look and act just like the bigger companies, with professional templates and estimates, emails, and, simple SMS messaging, notifying the customer that they're on the way or that their service has been, completed. It provides for an elevated experience. So those small companies can really start to gain traction. And you get customers talking about, to their neighbors, hey, use this pool company because, boy, they really have a professional approach to the business.
100%. So much great stuff under the hood, but let's switch gears for a minute. Talk about another spoke in the wheel. Pool 360's water test has become another major piece of this ecosystem. Why is water testing such an important touch point for PoolCorp's retail strategy today?
Yeah, the activity of simply testing the water chemistry is a critical component to the enjoyment of a person's pool. It's a big investment to have a pool in your backyard. Making sure that water is balanced not only provides for a great pool experience visually or physically on a warm day, but it also is critical to the pool's equipment longevity and ultimately will save the homeowner significant money down the road.
The platform works with systems like Taylor Express Flex, Lamont WaterLink Spin Touch, and liquid titration methods. Why was compatibility important?
Yeah, when we look at it with all of our platforms in our ecosystem, flexibility is important. We want to meet the customer where they are. That means for water testing, we need to make sure that they could utilize the power of our software no matter what their testing method was. It's a personal preference for these professionals, and our platform provides exactly what they need, regardless of how they decide to perform their water test.
Here's where the rubber meets the road, and I want to get you to explain it a little bit better for me. How does water test help retailers move from simply testing water to actually creating a better sales and customer experience for their customer?
Yeah, you're right. The testing, the water is the start of a much more impactful experience. The output a customer receives is a professional prescription to balance their pool with step-by-step instructions so they can help build confidence in not only what they're putting in their pool from a chemical composition, but also how to do it and when to do it. With that experience, the customer sees the dealer as a trusted partner, building a relationship that goes beyond just transactional.
I'm a data geek and I love the other aspect of this, which is capturing customers' profiles, their pool structure, purchases, preferences, and test history. How valuable is that data for a retail store today?
Yeah, in today's digital first environment, data is gold, right? Capturing that information makes the testing process streamlined so that the customer isn't, spending a lot of time at the counter repeating steps and providing information. But we also track the test history, so we can see what chemicals have been added to that pool over time and the chemical prescriptions, so that we can make sure that the pool achieves a stable and balanced environment and the customer ultimately is satisfied. Additionally, that data can be used as a marketing engagement tool. They can target customers for specific promotions, upcoming events, or reminders. A simple email to Miss Jones that last time you had an algae present in your water, it's been 2 weeks. You really should have your water checked again. That builds that future trust.
And they could do that right through the platform, right?
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Do you see water testing as one of the best ways brick and mortar retailers can compete today against online only sellers?
Yeah, this comes up quite a bit. It's definitely a key differentiator and allows to, build that trust that we talked about. The prescription also specifies the branded chemicals in the store. So that makes it convenient for the associate to walk the customer over to the shelf, pick up what they need, and ultimately check out and go back and treat their pool. The other benefit of it is, those branded products, it limits the ability for a customer to just jump online, as the naming convention is differentiated.
Wally, when I had Brian and Jamie on, we talked about PoolCorp's overarching retail strategy and moving forward, moving towards a more focused system selling process. How does things like royal treatment and gold standard fit into the water test strategy?
Yeah, so right up front, in the water test application, we have the ability to put custom banners up, and Royal Treatment and Gold Standard are preloaded into the software. So a dealer can put those banners right at the top of the water test results to remind customers of the benefit of using Royal Treatment or Gold Standard. You know, Once a pool is in balance, this is the best way to keep it that way. Saving time and incremental testing, money on additional chemicals, really is the best way to keep that pool looking brilliant.
You keep improving the tech stack, keep rolling out new features. Another big announcement we saw recently was that popular construction management system, JobTread, recently announced integration with Pool360. Why was JobTread the right platform to integrate with?
Yeah, as we look across our ecosystem and our emphasis on creating value and efficiency for our customers, JobTread was really perfect alignment to our strategy. We both squarely put the customer at the center with our platforms, and we're excited to bring this enhancement to the pool builder community.
The integration lets builders browse live PoolCorp catalog items, pull current pricing into budgets, and place orders without leaving JobTread. What does that solve for builders?
Yeah, so this integration really simplifies the quote to order process. Being able to develop accurate estimates, track expenses, and verify pricing on a product line level really ensures accuracy. We all know that the pricing products change over time, and the pool building timeline can be extensive, can be long. So this integration allows for clarity of the pricing and allows builders to make informed decisions in real time on what that pricing strategy should look like.
Sure. I mean, how much margin leakage happens when builders estimate with outdated pricing or rebuild material lists manually?
Yeah, while I cannot put a general number on the impact of the outdated pricing, what I can share is builders using live price syncing are 20% less likely to underquote a project by seeing the market costs in real time.
The JobTread announcement talked about reducing double entry, missed line items, and inconsistencies between estimates and orders. I mean, how common are these problems in pool construction, would you say?
Yeah, these are extremely common. A typical pool build has, between 50 and 100 line items. Manually entering those into a supplier portal takes, 45 to 60 minutes per job. With this integration, it takes under 3 minutes. 95% reduction in data entry time. That's a significant savings. Our pool builders that have used the integration, can simply update their lists of materials and associate the product category with Pool360 and create estimates in a much, much greater and more efficient and accurate way.
Really exciting stuff. I mean, do you see more integrations like this coming, Wally, where Pool360 connects into the software that pool companies use already every day?
Yeah, we're consistently looking at ways to create value in our platforms, whether that be new features, enhancements, or integrations with other software technologies. We will make a decision whether or not we should partner, build, buy different types of technologies to make sure we're putting our best foot forward and being that distributor of choice. Our passion is to enable a digital experience that empowers efficiency, business transparency, and supports growth, right? That is the ecosystem that provides a mutual benefit to everybody in the pool industry.
I'd have to agree there. I mean, Wally, thanks so much for taking time out today to walk us through some of the exciting new changes in Pool 360 and for giving us some insight into how the platform is adapting to meet the ever-evolving needs of today's tech-savvy pool pro. Really enjoyed our conversation.
I appreciate the time, and hopefully we'll come back soon with more future enhancements and we can talk through those as well.
For those listening in, we'll have a link in the show notes for you, but if you're a pool pro that would like to learn more, head on over to pool360.com. That's all the time that we have left for today. Make sure to like, share, follow, and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time on another episode of Pool Magazine Podcast.
This episode of Pool Magazine Podcast is proudly sponsored by Basecrete Technologies, the industry leader in cementitious waterproofing. Basecrete is the #1 all-in-one waterproof membrane and bond coat, delivering unmatched strength, superior adhesion, and long-term flexibility. Its proprietary blend of polymers and specialized additives makes it the go-to choice for protecting and repairing concrete in pools, spas, and beyond. When it comes to waterproofing, experienced pool professionals trust Basecrete. For more information, visit us on the web at basecretetechnologies.com.